I'm Nick Terzo, and you're listening to The Radical. This week's guest did something completely against the odds by starting a YouTube channel in his 50s. Not only did he crazily succeed, but in just 3 years, his channel has grown to over 2.2 million subscribers. His career has taken him from professor to artist to producer to songwriter, and now a successful YouTuber. Rick Beato joins me this week, and we chat about his transitions, the incredible growth of his channel, writing a #1 hit, edutainment, and his precise, articulate style of breaking down a hit song. Up next, my conversation with Rick Beato. Hey, Rick, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I've been looking really forward to this. I kind of went into the COVID black hole of YouTube towards the end of last year. I'd run out of things to do, and I figured I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. And it kind of served up a few of your videos to me, and it was like, wait a minute. This is pretty astonishingly good, and some of them even related to some things I had worked on in my past. And it was like, I learned new things from you. So, and I just got fascinated by you because you have this natural ability as an educator in how you communicate this stuff. And so I really got into all your videos like a crazy person. So I'm really happy to have this discussion today and talk about your past, how you got here, so what's all aligned with you that you can do this so very well and build an audience like you have?
Well, when I started it, I obviously didn't think it would become, I had no expectations, honestly. I just did it on a whim. One of my interns recommended that, or said, why don't you become a YouTuber? And I always tell the story, well, who's going to watch an old guy with white hair? Apparently, some people will.
Millions.
So, I started making videos in the summer of 2016. I've made 820 videos, something like that. It's every time that I release one, it's insanity though. Every time I work on one, the process is always the same. I used to look at YouTubers when I was first starting. Channels that I watched, Vsauce, Veritasium, established YouTube channels, a lot of science channels, or things like Casey Neistat at the time, and filmmakers. And I would think, man, these people have millions of subscribers. They must freak out before they hit the publish button. And it's the same every time. Doesn't matter. Like when you're putting up your first videos or now, it's always the same. I always am just, I gotta hit publish. Do I do it? Did I forget something? And then I kind of start searching. I always will look at the comments over the first half hour or so to say, like, if I look at them right now, Nick, I say, I'll look to see if there's something missing from the video. Because sometimes it's, you'll upload something and, hey, your audio is missing for 2 minutes of it or something. Occasionally you'll have things like that and you have to take the video down and fix it, right? So usually in the first 5 minutes or so, I'll quickly look at the comments and see if there's some type of a technical problem with it, because occasionally that would happen. I've had that happen with people. But once again, the pressure of uploading, of just hitting the publish button always feels the same.
That's awesome. Well, I just got to watch your process, so I was really excited. I actually got a little behind the scenes.
It's like changing the title and everything, just trying to figure out what, when you put the title in, you look at it, you're like, oh, no, I don't think that's a good title. I have the title in mind all the way up until I see what it looks like in the bar of the upload bar, it's like, that doesn't look very good.
That's funny.
That doesn't look interesting. Too much pressure.
Well, I was happy to be a little test audience today on that. So
I appreciate that too. So, but I'm gonna if it doesn't go well, Nick,
of course,
no, I'm just kidding.
Lay it on me. So, so I don't want to go too much in a timeline, but you have your background is you attended college, got a degree in music, yes, and then got a master's degree, yes, in jazz.
Yeah, master's in music and jazz, undergrad in classical bass, master's in jazz.
And did you think your path was as an educator, or do you think your path was as a composer, as a producer? What were you thinking then?
Well, I was I'd hoped to be a performer. I wrote my own tunes, instrumental tunes. I don't know if you'd call them fusion or jazz. They weren't really jazz tunes, but they were instrumental guitar music. And I had taken, I got out of grad school. I went to visit some friends in upstate New York in Ithaca, where I'd done my undergrad at Ithaca College. I went there to hang for, a couple of weeks or so. And then I got an offer to teach in the fall at Ithaca College, fall of '87. And thought about it and was like, well, I don't have anything else to do, so I'll take the job. And that's how I got into it. Literally, I have nothing else to do. Oh, it pays? Great.
And was that like more, is that theory, or was that commercial music program, or was that more of a theory?
It was a jazz studies. So it was like teaching improv, teaching private lessons, guitar, bass, conducting big band, arranging, all this, all the kind of stuff. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that I do on my channel.
Oh, funny. How many years did you do that?
So I did that from '87 to '92. And I ended up starting to write songs, like rock songs, in starting around '89 or so. I got a publishing deal in '92 with Polygram, and that allowed me to quit my job. Or then I wanted to go out and see about, I wanted to kind of follow that path and get out of doing teaching. I felt like I'd taught for 5-6 years, and I'm ready to do something new. So that led me down to to moving to Atlanta and starting a band and starting to produce. And I started producing really around 1995. Started producing rock bands, and with really no experience at all, other than the experience of I had done a million demos in studios by then. So I knew about arranging, like how to arrange guitar parts and how to write songs. So I guess that's actually a lot of experience.
It is a lot of experience.
So, yeah, it's a lot of experience from recording hundreds of songs and being in studios. So, so I started producing then, and honestly, I did that until 2016 when I started my YouTube channel.
Wow. And so you still have, you have Black Dog Studios, Black Dog Sound. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't really. That's my studio.
Yes.
It's not a
commercial.
Not a commercial studio. It's a video studio now.
Yeah. Imagine that.
My live room is my video control room now.
Wow, that's amazing. So, and also, you've done a lot of. You have education products. A lot focused on kind of youth, kind of like what's Neural? Neural.
Yes. Well, Neural was an ear training program that I had, something that I did for my oldest son, Dylan, before he was born. There's Neural. I have an ear training program for adults that's more, geared towards relative pitch. And that would be more like something that somebody that wants to improve their ear. It starts very simply, and it gets very complex. And it's something that I taught ear training when I was a college professor, so it's really based in on all the things that I used to teach and how my concepts of ear training. And I have my Beato book that is my music theory and improvisation book. So, everything's really based on teaching and based on stuff that I did 30 years ago, really, that I started doing back when I was back in the 80s.
It's incredible. Do you think any of the, I've run across a few apps out there, that try to teach you some ear training and stuff. And I got so frustrated with them. I didn't last very long. Are any of those accurate or good, or have you run across any of those?
I haven't really used any of the ear training apps. I mean, my program is web-based and it's tests you on things, but it's also a video program. I have videos that go along with all the chapters to teach you exercises to practice and things like that. So that part of it is, that's really like teaching you strategies for what to listen for intervals, for chords, for melodic dictation, whatever it is. So it's a video course as much as anything, as much as a program to test you on things. Right.
Are these more kind of focused on ear training, or some focused on a particular instrument, or not?
No, it's just all on ear training. My ear training course, all on ear training. Yeah. And then my book is based on music theory, but the ear training course comes with a PDF that is because ear training is music theory, because you have to have you got to know the names of what things are called. Right. So you can't separate. I always tell people you can't separate music theory from ear training. They're the same thing. Just you have to know. You're learning what the sounds of things are called.
Right. Interesting. And have you kind of put aside, like, are you still producing, or are you kind of now, because of the success of your channels and teaching, that's really your focus now?
Yeah, I work 7 days a week on my YouTube channel. When I'm not spending time with my wife and kids, this is what I do.
It's fantastic. And the genesis of your YouTube channel was around your son, though, and his ability to kind of actually do this at an early age, or was it always around the ear training? Or
no, it had nothing to do with that. It was I hit 100,000 subscribers just a little more than a year into my channel. So yeah, so I did it was steady growth, but it was really, there was no huge breakout videos or anything like that. Just a slow, steady growth, consistent growth. And honestly, it wasn't until 2019 that I had any, I think I had my first viral video 3 years into my channel.
Wow. Holy cow. And was there a eureka moment during that time, or did it take even longer than that before it clicked?
Well, I had this one video that was a kind of a viral video that was called The Darkest Scale Ever. It was a completely weird video, or the double harmonic major scale, the darkest scale ever. Like, it's completely esoteric video, right? With a strange little 40-second piece I wrote using this scale for it. And I don't know why that one blew up. It's still one of my strangest videos. Then I started What Makes This Song Great in 2018, and the videos did well. That series has done very well, but I did some of these top 20 lists. Those were always fun. I always liked watching those kind of videos. So then I started making them myself, because I love countdown videos, and so the first one I did was this top 20 acoustic guitar.
It's your biggest video.
It's my biggest video.
I'm really surprised, because I expected kind of the rock guitar or the electric guitar. I expected that to kind of, but man, that thing slammed it. 12 million, was it 12 million views?
It's like the only, yeah. And it was the first time I played acoustic guitar on my channel, I think. I think it's like the only time I played acoustic guitar on my channel.
It's fantastic, though. It's so good.
I had a bunch of my friends say, wow, you play acoustic guitar really well. How do you know all those songs? I said, what are you talking about? That's like all the stuff when I was growing up. Those are all the songs those are the classics. I had to learn all those. Man,
I was so excited because you did sneak one of my bands in there. So I was like, he did it. We got to number 9.
Who's that?
I Stay Away with Allison
What was
Chains.
that? Oh my God. Yeah.
It's too much, isn't it?
That song.
It's a killer.
Oh my God.
So I was so excited you slid in, and I thought, well, he's in the top 10 now. He's in the top 10. There's no way one of their songs is getting in there.
Okay. So let me ask you about, what is it about that song in particular, the mood of that song? When it comes in, it's so dark and joyous at the same time.
It's their shtick, man.
Right?
They kind of do that. And it's got the most
right.
beautiful. There's so much beauty in it, but there's this darkness, this layer.
I know.
The combination is just really their trademark, I think, you know?
Yeah. And when I put that on, there's some songs that I put on that, and then Seasons, Chris Cornell.
Yes.
These songs are just so, I just, you know, or I listened to you know, Pearl Jam Garden, or I love all those grunge songs. They have the beautiful guitar parts. They have, you know, and they just sound like they just bring me back in time. And at the time, that was the most incredible. I love grunge. People know I love grunge.
Thank heavens. It was a moment in time. It was captured, and it was, you know, to be anywhere within that community when it was happening. It's just you know, one of the great highlights of my life and my career, you know?
That was the time. I mean, did you realize it back then? I mean, did you?
The only thing I really realized is I went up there. I was working at ASCAP at the time, right? Before I became an A&R guy. Mm-hmm. So I went up there on my first trip, and it was like, or my second trip. I was friends with the guys in Queensryche. So occasionally I used to go up and see those guys. But on this trip to ASCAP, I got introduced to all this amazing, you know, Mother Love Bone. Spent time with Chris Cornell and Kim Thale, and, you know, spent time with, you know, the Alice guys. So, I mean, it was like, went to like this music bank recording studio where there was 40 or 50 rooms full of musicians. It was like, what is going on here? So that was like the moment.
I went to Seattle then too. And it was, I went for 4 days during that time period, and 91, 92. And it was, I went to Seattle a few times actually, but I remember the first time I went there, it was like, what is going on here? This is unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's this just weird thing, you know, because they had closed the venues down during that time, or there was some new city ordinance. So like new live venues couldn't pop up. So a lot of the reason they were all in rehearsal rooms was there was no place to play for some strange reason. I can't remember the ordinance. So that happened kind of simultaneously. So it was really strange. And, you know, and Seattle has such a weird, you know, it was before Starbucks and Amazon. I mean, Starbucks was there, but before they blew up. Yeah.
Before the internet.
There used to be this very unstable economic community up there because of Boeing, and there was always layoffs. And so it was a different time. I mean, it's not the Seattle robust of today, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, we kind of go off. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, it's like, that's one of my favorite topics.
We can talk more about it. So with the videos, what makes a song great? You do them all under your name though, even though some of these have different categories and titles, or how do people find you on YouTube? It shouldn't be hard, but.
Yeah, just, you know, just from finding my, you know, from people find me from YouTube recommending my videos to people.
And do you at this point, do you think you have any rhyme or reason for what works and doesn't work? Or do you still kind of like, are you surprised?
I'm always surprised. Every single video, I'm surprised.
I mean, are the current countdown ones more consistent because they kind of fall in the same category, or not really?
No, there is no, and none of my YouTuber friends, all of us music YouTubers are really good friends, and none of us know anything like what's going to be successful or anything like that. No idea.
Well, you don't have to tell me. I put my podcast up there, and if I hit, you know, I think Richard Fortus from Guns N' Roses got me about 4,000 views. That's about the biggest I've had so far. So
yeah,
I don't understand.
There's no, you know, I trying to understand social media is really almost pointless. So you just make stuff that you like. I make videos that I think are interesting to me, and hopefully people like them.
You're clearly an entertainer, so it works. So
well, it's fun. Just like my, you know, my video today about what Spotify recommends me. I'm sitting on my phone today while I'm making breakfast for my kids, and I was like, what does Spotify recommend me? And I just start playing the stuff. You know, I mean, I'm going through all these different playlists, and I was like, they have dance videos for me. They have R&B and hip hop videos, songs. And I know why, because I've done videos on the top 10 songs on the pop charts, metal, so because I'm listening to these things, it's thinking, oh, Rick likes all these different things. He's into hip hop, he's into R&B, he's into indie rock, he's into metal. Boy, Rick's really eclectic. And so I'm like, okay, let's check out some of these playlists. So I was like, I'm gonna make my video about that today. Let's see. And so it was kind of live reaction of what they think I would like.
I can't wait to see it later today. Then wait till you get to TikTok and see what they recommend for you. Then you'll be really surprised.
I just got on TikTok about a week ago, so I haven't even looked at it that much yet. Except every time I open it, I'm taken aback by whatever. It's like, what is this?
Have you chopped up some of your videos and put them on there? Or have you done anything yet or not?
I put on stuff from Instagram, things I do from Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a whole other set of
can of worms.
Yeah, it's a different culture for sure.
Yeah,
so different culture. And I mean, were you surprised that the amount of work that goes into this? I mean, that it ended up kind of subsuming you and became your career. I mean, music production is very time consuming. This is music production plus visual production on top of it. It's incredibly time consuming. Just honestly, the workflow, I edit my own videos, the massive amounts of information from using 4K video is just, you could work on, you could make 50 records on a hard drive, 5 years ago, and have a backup drive or a couple of backup drives and just keep using the same hard drive over and over. But man, I have videos that are 2 terabytes, just one video. That's a massive amount of information. I have hundreds and hundreds of hard drives. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's really difficult to keep track of what's on what drives and stuff. Oh my God.
And what, as you come up with your ideation of these videos, how do you do that? I mean, what goes through what catches you? Like today, you said you just kind of caught the whim of Spotify serving stuff up to you. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I never had looked at the playlist that they recommended to me, even though I'm on Spotify all the time. The app has so many different elements to it. I'm like, boy, this is really confusing. What is what? Wait a minute. They think I like these dance songs. What? Right. So it's every day it's something different. I don't have any videos saved up or anything, but I have a lot of video ideas, things I want to do. I have some videos that I have started that I'm kind of actively working on, but for the most part, I come up with an idea and I make the video.
That's great. I mean, does this fulfill your creative journey? I mean, look, you've been involved in creating for a long time. I mean, does this fill that? I mean, do you continue to do other things musically for yourself anyway, even?
Yeah, this is really interesting for me. I think I really enjoy making these videos, because I post on YouTube about every 2 days, and I post on Instagram almost every day, and I'm playing my guitar or playing keyboards or playing whatever all the time. So it's fun. Awesome. I've played way more than I did when I was a producer. I mean, I hardly did anything. Everything was for everyone else. Now I get to kind of do my own thing. And
yeah, if you were a producer nowadays, though, you would be having to redo everyone's guitar parts and everything. So you'd be redoing all the recording. So you'd be the player and the producer.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Is there anyone, as you've grown this following, I mean, you got 2.2 million subscribers now on YouTube. Are there people that have followed you that are you like, holy shit, that's like Peter Frampton following me? I mean, is there stuff like that?
Yeah, people like Peter Frampton.
It blows your mind?
Yeah,
Peter Frampton.
I mean, I've gotten to interview so many great players, and that I just interviewed Steve Lukather recently, and I had Steve Vai and John Petrucci and tons of, just so many people that I've gotten a chance to interact with, and that part of it has been great. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's good to be a fan still, right? So
always a fan.
Always a fan.
Yeah.
So
I almost don't want to meet the people,
I do know that, because there's been a lot of people I've completely blocked out. Like, I said, I'm never going to meet Elton John. I mean, fortunately I met Bernie Taupin, but I'll never meet Elton John, because I
met Elton and Bernie on the same day here in Atlanta at a studio. And it was amazing. They were so interesting. And it was, so I did get to meet Elton John, and that was totally cool.
I can't do it. And speaking of being a fan, I'm a fan of a song you wrote with Parma Lee called Carolina, that I think is, when I heard it, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, much like I've seen some of your talking about it, that it's, conceptually kind of more like a rock song to me. And I mean, you even played your demo where you were kind of up a beat, and I thought the demo was actually better than the original. So I wish you wouldn't have played the demo now. So, you're going to have to send me a copy of that, because I think that, but that's a fantastic, tell me about that experience for you.
So I'd worked with the band. I mean, the song was written in 2007, and honestly, I'd forgotten about it. And the band called me up and they said, wrote to me years later, 2013 in February. And, hey, remember the song we wrote together, Carolina? And I thought, yeah, I vaguely remember it. I went back and listened to it. And, well, we're on this label, and we're a country band, and they're going to be releasing it as a single. And I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then about 6 months later, one of my buddies was like, it's in the top 40. Okay. And then then it was the fall. I mean, months and months later, that one of my buddies called me and said, your song entered into the top 20. I was like, what does that mean? That means that it picks up the Clear Channel stations, I think it was, and which are hard to get. And it could go number one. You never know. Then I got in the top 10, then I got in the top 5, and it went number 1.
Amazing.
What are you going to do? I mean, it's all luck though, Nick.
There's, luck. Yes. When you get into that type of horse race, it tends to be a lot of luck, but talent behind it is always helps.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
I wouldn't say I'm cynical about it, but I know how much luck is involved in success in the music business and stuff, or in, things like YouTube.
Yep.
I happen to start at the right time and make videos about the right things, I guess. I don't know.
Definitely tapped into something. And I think it's it's the timing of that, but it's also your experience and your background as an educator, and being able to convey this stuff to us in like really easily comprehensible ways. Because I could watch a lot of guys try to break down a song, and I'm sure some of it would go right over my head. And I think what you do is you have a remarkable skill in communicating. And that's
I appreciate that. I always think to myself, well, explain things as if people watching don't know anything about music. So that's really if you keep that in mind, then you're then I think you're okay, and you connect with people, but even if they don't have any background in music.
Right. But even I, with a little background, kind of walked away with like, wow, is that what we were doing? You know what I mean? You don't think of it in those terms and the right nomenclature and the right definitions.
Right.
And it's interesting to hear that come back. It's like, oh, that's what we were kind of doing. And I kind of saw something, I think Peter Frampton tweeted something back to you where he kind of said that, like, oh, I didn't realize I was using that many, what do you say, Lydias or whatever he was using in a row. Yeah. So that's what's interesting. You're kind of,
that was very funny.
It's almost like you're like like a geographer or something someone digging and an anthropologist. And we all learn from it.
Yeah. I like to say, well, I know people will say, oh, well, Kurt Cobain didn't know what he was doing. It's like, well, yeah, he might not have known he was doing, but I know what he was doing. And now I'm going to explain to you what he was doing.
Yep. That's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. In doing this, if you ever, and maybe these things haven't made it to a video or not, if you come across something where you said, gee, I never really liked that, and I can't believe I'm even playing around with this and breaking it down, and found out that you like something, or is that just not the case ever?
Well, my What Makes a Song Great series, I don't necessarily like every song. That's why I put the question mark at the end of what makes a song great, right? Like, why do people like the song? It's not a declarative statement, it's a question.
Absolutely.
And it may be a song that you hate, but other people think it's great. Like what makes it great?
Right.
Well, so that's, so I don't like every song that I've broken down, but I try not to let that cloud my judgment on it. I try and get to the essence of what actually makes people want to re-listen to songs and why they become huge hit songs.
Right. Well, I think you have some remarkable accuracy. Other than the occasional Jethro Tull and Dream Theater, I'm okay with it. You are much more open than I. So, anyhow, we'll wrap this up now. And look, I'm thrilled that you did this with me. I'm thrilled for your success. I just think anyone that can teach the way you do, it's such a talent. And, people say rock is dead, and we hear this over and over, right? Our generation a little bit. And I don't know. I see these young kids picking up guitars and playing stuff from 30 years ago. I don't know.
That's right.
It's going to cycle back at some point, I think. Don't you?
Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, I hope so. So thank you for doing this, Rick. It's fantastic. We'll link everybody to all your channels, or to your channel. And thank you for doing this. It's been my pleasure.
Very welcome. My pleasure. Thanks.
Stay healthy.
See you. Yeah. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening this week. To follow what's going on with this podcast, you can go to theradicalpod.com. theradicalpod.com. You'll find show notes and past episodes, and even a little swag there if you want a t-shirt or a hat. I would be honored if you'd subscribe at Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Till next week.